Hello again, lovies, and happy Wednesday. I had to think about what day of the week it was. I have a new math lesson for us today for me to teach you a new three-digit addition strategy. And it's not really new. In fact, most of you enjoy this one more from what I remember being in the classroom with you than the other ones. It's not a bad strategy to use, but the idea is that we get past using the base 10 blocks and understanding the place value so that when you get to fourth grade, you are ready for those 4-digit addition problems and those 5 digits and everything else that comes your way when it comes to addition, especially, and subtraction. So I have some manipulatives with me today. I got these from our classroom. So as you know, because you've been working with these for so long, we have our H, our hundreds, our T, our tens, and then of course we have our ones, okay? So in essence, we would call it H, T, and if I had 3 hands, O, okay? So hundreds, tens, and ones. So I'm going to attempt to try and use these during our lesson, but I'll probably end up using the whiteboard more. So the strategy we used yesterday was expanded form. A lot of you viewed my video, and I saw Anthony comment and said it helped him a lot, which I really appreciated. So we're going to run through the strategy together today. So I did let you know that I was going to use some of the problems from your lesson plan from today. So I'm going to pull up my class dojo to check those numbers really quickly. So your math homework today, let's see, here it is. Okay, so the word problem says, the second grade class at Washington Elementary School went on a field trip to the zoo. They saw 124 fish and 83 mammals. How many animals did they see all together? Now, you knew that we were working on addition, so I'm sure you went ahead and you knew we were going to add those two numbers together. But if you remember, when we solve word problems, we do have our 4 strategies. So we have to read it 2 times, and I'm not there reading it to you, so you have to read it twice, maybe 3. Close your eyes after you read it and picture what is happening. So I'm picturing the zoo. I'm picturing 124 fish and 83 mammals. I'm seeing them all as I walk through the zoo. I might have a little fanny pack on, have me a Coke as I'm walking through because it's hot outside. And then the question says, how many did they see all together? So what I know is there are 124 fish, and I know there's 83 mammals, okay? What I don't know is how many there are altogether. When I'm looking for a total, there are 2 operations I do. Remember, we have 4 operations. We have addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. When I'm looking for the total of something, I'm going to be either adding or I'm going to be multiplying, okay? Here, I just want to know the total of the animals, so I'm going to add the total fish to the total mammals. So I'm going to go ahead and put my addition sign in, okay? So then I'm going to draw a line, and that was an awfully crooked line, but we're just going to pretend it's not, okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and break it up into our HTO. So if you're following with me or if you already did it, check your work with me, okay? So I'm going to break it up into H, T, and O. Okay, now I'm going to switch up my colored markers so that you can see this a little better. So I'm going to do 124 with pink, okay? So remember when we do hundreds are just giant squares, okay? If we were talking about manipulatives, here's my hundreds, okay? So I have 100, 2 tens. So I'm going to draw my, this is hard to do like this, 2 tens, and then I'm going to draw my 4 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? So 124, check. Now I'm adding 83 to that 124. So I'm going to switch marker colors again. We're going to use green, okay? So now I'm adding 83. Well, I'm going to add how many hundreds? How many hundreds are in 83? I'm going to let you think for a second. How many hundreds are in 83? You're right. None. There's no hundreds. So I don't even need to put a hundreds right here. I'm going to move to my tens. Now there are 8 tens. So I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or I'm sorry, let's count like this. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Okay? Then I'm going to put my 3 ones. So 1, 2, 3. Now if you notice, Ms. Carlson different spots. I went ahead and broke up into my different colors instead of adding on to it, just because it makes it a little more visual to see that you've been adding to it. Okay, so now what I need to do is I need to see if I need to regroup. Just like in expanded form, when we had too many hundreds or too many tens, we had to give some to our neighbor. We're going to do the same thing with our base 10 block strategy. So there's only one 100. If I had 10 100s, then we would move into the thousands, but I don't have any to move over, to move up. Remember, subtraction, we borrow, and addition, we're giving, okay? All right, tens. Now let's count how many tens I have, if you'll count with me. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So I have 100 in my tens. I have 10 tens. So you know what I can do with those 10 tens? I can take my 10 tens and I can turn them into a 100, because 10 tens is the same thing as 1 100. 10 times 10, or the number 10 added 10 times, gives me 100. So now I don't have any tens, because what I did was I regrouped those tens into 100, okay? So now let's see if I have any ones that I can regroup into tens. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the bottom and write down my total that I found. So how many hundreds do I have? I have 100 and 200. So I'm going to write 2. I'll put a little box around it. And then how many tens do I have? Remember, we don't have any anymore. 0, because we regrouped them. So 200, then a 0, and then let's see how many ones again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And a 7, okay? So up here, 124 plus 83 equals 207. And remember, it's a word problem, so we can't forget the label. I can hear you now. 207, and just to triple check it, we're talking about mammals, I believe. I'm going to pull it back up. How many animals? Sorry. 207 animals. Okay, so give yourself a brain kiss if you got that right. If you did not get that right, please shoot me a dojo message and we can go over it together on Zoom, just us if we need to. All right, let's do one more of your practice problems at the bottom. So if you were working on your workbook pages, I'm not solving any of those today, but in the future I might use those. But the problem I'm going to use is at the bottom. So it says solve these 2 problems using scratch paper and mental math. Well, this is our mental math for right now, using the base 10 blocks, the strategy today. But eventually, it's kind of like a number talk, like you're doing it in your brain. You have these strategies in your back pocket, so you don't have to continue to show work and do all of this. You can do it mentally, is what we're getting to. All right, so 322 plus 264. So 322, there's a glare on it. There we go. Plus 264. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and draw my H, my T, and my O. Okay, so it's not a word problem, but I bet you could, as a challenge, what you could do is you could come up with a word problem using these 2 numbers. I'm going to challenge you for that. All right, so my first one is 322, so I'm going to draw that in my HTO. So I have 300s. 2, 3, or 100, 200, 300. I have 2 10s, 10, 20. And then I have 2 1s, 1, 2. Okay, those look like triangles, same thing. All right, now I'm going to add 264, okay? So let's start in our ones, because I do want us to get in the habit of remembering to start in our ones. Oftentimes, we forget that's when we add, but it'll really help you when you get into 4th grade with your standard, and it helps with the expanded form too. All right, so I'm going to add 4 ones. So I'm going to do this in green. So 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? And you can check it off as you go. Sometimes that's a helpful strategy to us too. 6 10s, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Check. And then 2 100s. 100. Oh my goodness, 200. I need to practice my shapes. Okay. So now we're going to go through and figure out if there's any type of regrouping we need to do, or if there's, if we're just done, if there was no regrouping at all, if we don't have to move any into the next place value, then we know exactly what the number that we found is, okay? The sum, we're looking for the sum when we do addition. I know some of us remembered that, and some of us will work on it, okay? So let's start with our ones. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do I need to regroup? Nope. 6 ones, okay? Now I'm going to come to my 10s. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Do I have enough to turn into 100? I do not. Okay? 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. Do I have enough to turn into 1,000 to regroup? I do not. So we found our sum. Together we can say it. It is 586. So 322 plus 264 equals 586. This is the sum. Y'all have done a fabulous job. Thank you so much for tuning into my video today. I had spaghetti noodles coming out of my mouth again today, but I hope this helps some of you. If this strategy is not your favorite, then you do not have to use it, but I want you to know that there's lots of different ways we could solve math problems, and sometimes our brain likes other ways than other people do. So it's okay to use this strategy, but I want us to start to move past this, and instead of just seeing 500 as 500s, you can see it as a 500 in the expanded form as our place value starts to become more fundamental, okay? So I made a special announcement yesterday at the end of our video. During spring break, you might have something fun coming to you. Just be on the lookout for that, and know that I'm not going to start reading it until we're done with spring break. There's 25 chapters, so once I start, it'll kind of end out close enough to the end of the year. So that was exciting. So I hope you tune back tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll be teaching the number line strategy. And then hopefully, tomorrow's Thursday, hopefully on Friday we can Zoom again for Fantastic Friday. So if you're on Class Dojo, please tune in on Friday around 1, and you can hit the link and join in on our Zoom, and I get to see your face and you get to see your friend's face, and we'll do some morning meeting type activities. It'll be lots of fun, so tune into that. All right, I love you very much, and I hope this helps. Have a great night, my friends.